Hello, my name is Ben Gray. My disciplinary background is in arts and science, and since graduating at Monash in 2016, I've been involved in a variety of projects, particularly with an organisation called the Marine Mammal Foundation. So over the course of the past year, I've been on 4 fieldwork trips to the Gippsland lakes to research a population of dolphin called the Burrunan dolphin, or Tursiops australis. The purpose of our field trips to Gippsland is to gather a range of data. So we have 2 land-based teams and a boat-based team, all collecting different types of data on this dolphin population. So I'm going to talk particularly about the land-based approach, as it's a relatively new approach to dolphin surveying. So we applied a technique that's been used in whale research, and that was taught to us by Dr. Owen. So using a program called VADAR, which talks to a piece of equipment called a theodolite, typically used in land surveying, we spent 10-day research trips tracking dolphin movements and boat distributions, hoping to decipher how these dolphins use the patch of water at lake's entrance. So the great thing about this work is that there are so many uses for the huge amount of data that we gather, and the data will go into a range of different scientific studies as well as management strategies, which is really exciting because, as previously mentioned, the species has only been recently described, and so there's still so much to learn about these animals. As well as the scientific outcomes of the work, there are other important aspects of it, and that's what I'd like to talk about for the rest of this piece, and that's the community aspect of the project. So every time we conduct these fieldwork trips, we're swamped by locals who are curious as to what we're doing. The research site in Lake's Entrance, where we sit, is on a main road, and people are constantly stopping to ask questions. This local community has such a strong bond with these animals, and so many locals have a long relationship with the wildlife in the area. Everyone who came up to us had a different story to tell about these dolphins, and it was great to be able to answer their questions with evidence-based responses. Things like the size of the population, or the fact that each fin acts like a fingerprint, differentiating each individual. It was great to see how all this information brought these community members closer to the animals, and you could see it fostering a real sense of pride and a desire to help conserve the dolphin population. We were eventually featured on a few local websites and actually made it to the front of the local newspaper, the Lakes Post. We did face challenges, however, with some members of the community. So there's a lot of folklore and personal bias attached to people's knowledge of these dolphins, and I found that sometimes people were very stubborn about their view and didn't want to be told otherwise, especially not by a group of out-of-towners. For example, one community member was adamant that whales never came past the entrance, when in fact we'd seen whales the entire fieldwork trip. And there was another local who assured us there were thousands of individuals in the population, when in fact that there was only about 60 to 120 depending on the season. Countless other members of the community who were convinced that the dolphins were attracted to diesel engines. So ideas like this are understandable, but they're unfortunately counterproductive to conservation, as they promote misinformation and allow harmful practices to continue justifiably. So over the summer just gone, we ran community presentations in the town hall in Lake's Entrance on the history and biology of these dolphins, providing evidence so as to educate the community on the problems they're facing and to ensure that they respect and understand the things impacting their ability to survive.